Hey everyone, it's Lynn Terry, Low Carb Traveler here, and today I want to do a live blood glucose and blood ketone test on a supposedly keto-friendly food. And the reason I decided to do it live was I thought that would be kind of fun. Normally I just do it and take pictures as I go. But I'm having some trouble lately with my ketone levels leveling out or getting back to baseline. So I'll tell you what happened. I'll give you the brief story before I dive into this. So I had a friend come over and was in and out for the weekend. And of course, I have tons of products to review and cool stuff that people send me to check out. And I had all kinds of different baking mixes and different ingredients. And we had tons of fun baking up some interesting stuff, all of which seemed to test okay, but then something knocked me out of ketosis. And I'm pretty sure I know what the culprit was, but I haven't been able to get back into baseline levels to do a clean test since then. And so that's one of the important things, too, when you're testing and trying to determine what's knocking me out of ketosis, what's causing my weight loss to stall, what's causing me to be in a plateau. A lot of times, if you're mixing too many different foods or ingredients, you're diluting the results and you're basically just having to guess. And so what I do is a 6-day clean test per product or per food. So I will eat super clean, basically just super simple foods, eggs, pecans, beef, etc., and for 72 hours. And that's because it takes up to 72 hours for your body to fully metabolize anything you've already eaten. And so I get my glucose and ketone levels to optimal levels, to baseline, good and steady, and then I will test a food, whether it be a new Starbucks order or maybe a keto product or a fast food meal or whatever the case. Then I will eat clean again for another 72 hours and monitor the results. And I think this is incredibly important because when you're testing to see, what are my food culprits, what are my food sensitivities, what's stalling my weight loss or knocking me out of ketosis, it's really important that you do a clean test like that, only one product at a time, and that you give it ample time because your blood glucose levels are going to be the first indicator. They're going to change first. So if you eat something that spikes your blood sugar, spikes your blood glucose levels, it may or may not affect your ketone levels, and it may or may not affect them immediately. So it could, take a little time. So it's very important to do a clean test. So let's get down to the fun. You can see it in the background, so I ruined the surprise. So today's test is no foods, chocolate chips. And I have a 1-pound bag here, and you can see it's already opened, and that's for 2 reasons, because I opened it to do the testing today, but also because these were part of that whole baking crazy weekend, so these went into something else, something that I'd already tested before. Anyways, the thing that's questionable about these is that they're sweetened with allulose. And that's a new sweetener that's hit the market. It doesn't spike blood sugar levels like sugar. However, it has to be. It's a certified simple sugar found in common foods. It only has 10% of the calories of table sugar, and it's not recognized by the body as a carbohydrate. So, but they still do legally have to label it as sugar. So it hasn't gotten approval yet to be labeled as a sugar or alcohol, or to be not labeled as sugar. So it's very confusing, and you'll find it in a lot of products. I think Quest Hero bars, maybe. No foods, chocolate chips and cookies, they use allulose quite a bit. A lot of companies are starting to use allulose now. And a lot of people love it. And I will say that it tastes better. It doesn't have that yucky aftertaste, or it doesn't have that tingling effect on your tongue. So it is a nice taste. However, I'm curious to know how it affects my levels. So that's what we're going to work with today is no foods, sugar-free chocolate chips, or low-carb, keto-friendly chocolate chips. How many of you have tried those before, by the way? Let me look and see if I can, I was going to look and see if I could view, if you leave a comment. If you would just leave a comment, then maybe I could bring those up. That would be great. I just clicked the wrong thing. Hang on one second. Yeah, I don't want to do this. Hang on. Me trying to fix this is not working. Oh, there you go. Click to view comments. Now I got an option. All right, so the links, I put the links in the description of this video for everything that I have in front of me, just in case you asked. So thank you for leaving a comment, because now I can see you guys. Anyway, so yes, I left a comment. I put it in the description there where you can get the No Foods chocolate chips, and I do have a discount code for those. I have a discount code for lots of good stuff, which is one of the great things about having such an awesome audience, is it allows me to score you guys some good discounts. All right, so here's what we have is the No Foods chocolate chips, and I have exactly 1 serving of them, which is 1 tablespoon. And let me just tell you, things like chocolate chips or pecans or whatever, they don't fit in tablespoons and cups and things like that correctly. So what I do is I measure them out on my handy dandy Ozeri kitchen scale. I love this thing. It's inexpensive. It lasts forever because I've had mine for years and I've never even had to change the batteries yet, and I use it every day. So if you look on the package here, it will tell you the serving size, and that's incredibly important when you're tracking your foods or when you're eating stuff for carb count. The serving size can get you. So serving size is 1 tablespoon, which is exactly 14 grams, according to the label. We're reading the label here. So anyway, I don't measure with a tablespoon because, like I said, I don't find that very accurate. I don't like cheating myself out of 3 chocolate chips. I'm sure you don't either, right? So measure these out onto the kitchen scale to exactly 14 grams. You see that? That is how you do it. All right, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to eat these chocolate chips. And we're going to test before and after and see how they affect my blood glucose levels. I also was curious if you could melt these chocolate chips, to make like little desserts or something sweet real quick, because it seems like the perfect amount of chocolate to make a quickie, right? And I did. So we will discuss this in more detail post-testing to see, and I'll tell you how I made this. I melted it with butter, but I'll give you the exact ingredients and things like that in a second. So the first things first, I have been eating super clean for the last few days. Like I said, I had some problems getting myself back to my baseline levels ever since had this big kind of a bake-off weekend, and we're testing multiple products on top of each other. Pardon me. So that's an important thing, though. So I couldn't determine what it was that knocked me out of ketosis, but something knocked me out hard. And so now I'm having to go back for 6 days for each product. Once, got into baseline levels, I'm having to go back and test each thing individually on its own. One of the products I don't have anymore because we ate it all. So I won't be able to test that one. But it tested well with blood glucose levels at the time. So I honestly don't trust just anybody to give me results about what's keto and what's not, or what knocks you out of ketosis and what doesn't, because I don't know anybody else that goes through what I go through to do a test. So number one is making sure you are at baseline levels, and I haven't tested today, so we're about to find out if I'm in a good place to do this test, first of all, and if not, I'll have to come back and do it later. But I've been testing throughout the week, and I seem to be, back at a good place. I ate this morning, cheesy eggs. I only ate about 2 eggs. They were leftovers from last night because I didn't finish my dinner. I haven't had much of an appetite. And I had 1 little cup of peanut butter and 1 little cup of cream cheese. And that's all I've had today so far, and it's 3:30 p.m. my time. So I'm pretty hungry. And pardon me, I don't know if I told you guys I'm getting over the flu. So this cough is like lagging on. Anyway, so I don't really trust people not to be mixing things up, like to actually be at optimal levels when they test a food, and to be actually blood glucose and blood ketone testing, not just guessing, and then to actually ride it out, afterwards to see how things level out. I also don't know if I disinfected my hands already with disinfectant soap, but I also will use this alcohol swab because I just got through touching those chocolate chips. And anytime you touch anything, like let's say if you make your BPC, your bulletproof coffee, this is alcohol on a cotton ball. And anytime you make those things, you might get a little bit on your hands. And then, so if you have like coconut oil or butter or something on your hands, even just a little bit, that's going to skew your test. It can actually make your ketone levels appear higher. So this is my little testing kit right here. This is my clean thumb. This is my testing kit. It's Keto Mojo. I have a 15% off discount link for this too, and that link is also in the description of this video. So it consists of a couple of things. The testing kits, there's different kinds, but they come with this testing meter. Can you see that? And it's just this size of fits in the palm of your hand. I have small hands too, so it's nice and convenient, portable. This is the finger pricker thing. I think it's called a lancet. I call it the finger pricker thing. Anyway, so I'm going to put a fresh needle in the lancet. It's really super simple to use. I thought it was going to be complicated, and I also thought it was going to hurt, but it doesn't. Like, it's like quick, like it's just over with. It's nothing like getting a shot or getting your blood drawn or something horrible like that at the doctor's office. Anyway, so it's super easy to use. You just pop this little thing open, pop this little thing out. You dispose of it properly, of course. I'll dispose of it right there for now. And the videos on the Keto Mojo site will show you everything you need to know. Pull the top off this little thing. This is super easy to do. I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on the internet. And then you just pull it back like that. All right, so then I have two different things here. One is to test, these strips are to test blood glucose levels and blood ketone levels. So I'm going to start by testing my blood ketone level. I haven't tested it yet today, so the surprise will be on both of us. I have no idea what it is. Anything 0.5 or above is in ketosis. And honestly, everything above that is a variable. People talk about deeper state ketosis. People talk about, all kinds of things like that. But honestly, it's all about bio-individuality. So you can have a housewife who, regularly scores like 1.9 or 2.2 ketone levels with her blood test kit. And then you could have an athlete that regularly scores 0.05 or 0.06. And you might think, oh, he's in lower level ketosis. But the fact is his body may be using the ketones more efficiently than a sedentary housewife, let's say, just as a comparison. So I have a video on that. That is the last link in the description of this video if you want to go later and watch that video. So this is pretty simple. I'm just going to pop this little thing in here. It's already calibrated. It's going to turn on. You can't really see that because it glares. So it's checking. It's turning on, and I'm going to... I got that pulled back, so I'm just going to prick my finger. It's good to kind of like get your blood flowing, yada yada, but I don't really have any trouble with this. I kind of like pinch my thumb up like that a little bit and just bing, and it doesn't hurt at all. So Adam says, will you be testing the granola too? I tested all 4 flavors. At the time, there were 4 flavors back in December. I tested all 4 flavors. They passed with flying colors. And I have a link for that as well. Anyway, so this is my little blood droplet. Can you see that? I think I got a little too much there. And I'm just going to put it right down in this little strip like that. And you can't really see. Maybe I can get it to where you can see. I have to take a picture too because we'll have to blog about this. Oh, wow. So we're at a good place. Oh, wait. My phone is in the wrong mode. Hang on. I'll show this to you in a second. All right. So I have to take pictures as I go because, we got to show this to the rest of the world. All right. Let me see if I can get it to not glare. Turn it back on. All right. So we're at 1.2, which is good levels. You can see that, yes? Adam said, about testing the granola, even if I eat 10 bags at once, no, that's not okay because the carb count will really add up on you. But I have eaten as many as 4 servings at once, like in a big bowl of cereal because I was like really hungry and I ate it as a meal, not as a snack. And that tested fine. That didn't affect my blood glucose or blood ketone levels. All right, so we're at 1.2 is my ketone level. The next thing I need to check, and I'm gonna clean my thumb again. Like I said, I don't really trust anybody else except the Keto Mojo crew to do things this clean. So the next thing I'm going to do, we are 1.2 blood ketone levels. Now I'm going to test my blood glucose levels. And it's important to do this because if you don't know what you are, what your numbers are before you test a food, how in the world are you going to know how that food really affected you? And it could be all kinds of things. Even though I didn't eat anything questionable the last 3 days, it could be hormone levels, it could be sleep quality, it could be stress, cortisol, it could be all kinds of things. And even women who've had a hysterectomy and even men have hormone cycles throughout the month or every month. And so it could be such a variety of things that it's important to test and make sure you are indeed at your baseline level or at, one specific level. Next thing is I put in glucose strip. So we're going to test that next. And I'm going to prick my finger again. This is so easy. You don't see me like scream or run or go crazy or anything like that. Except I just touched my finger again. And I am serious about it being a clean test, as you can see. That's important. All right, so I don't actually have any, Adam, the Catalina Crunch cereal, I don't have any on hand or in stock to test that. All right, so I just pricked my finger again. You can see that was super easy. It's just like prick. It does not hurt. Then you just kind of have to get a little drop of blood here next. So that's easy. And I'm squeamish about this stuff, and this doesn't bother me. Anyway, so I'm going to test my glucose level. So that was simple. You could see me do that, right? All right, so it's at pretty much my normal range, which a little bit off. Normally I'm around 85. This one says, let me see if I can get it, 88. So that's pretty much my norm. So my ketone and glucose levels are both pretty much baseline. And that's what I need in order to do a test on this food. All right, so what I got, and we'll go back here and put the testing up because I want to wait at least, like 30 minutes after I eat something. So what we have, again, is the No Foods chocolate chips. I have exactly one serving. This is No Foods chocolate chips. I have a 10% off discount code on these, but don't grab them yet because I'm still testing. I ate some, but I ate some along with a lot of other things, and something knocked me out of ketosis. So now that I'm back to my baseline levels, I'm going back through all of these individual ingredients one at a time and testing them to see what it was. What was the culprit? Allulose is questionable. Some people, are worried about it. Some people are like, that label doesn't sound right, etc. And again, I measured these out exactly 14 grams. I don't really trust the whole tablespoon or third of a cup or half a cup or whatever. So when it comes to my Lolly's granola, I do 1 ounce. When it comes to these, I do 14 grams. So I'll show these to you, and I'm going to have to eat them. I don't normally like to eat on video. Can you see? Oh, there's my pricked finger, sorry. They smell good, like chocolate chips. And I figured out how to melt them down, make dessert. I don't know if you can see that. So I have that as well, because who really eats one serving of chocolate chips, right? So I'm probably going to eat 2. All right, so we'll have to check the time. It is 3:37. So I'm going to eat these chocolate chips, and I'm going to see how they affect my blood glucose levels, and we can have a chat in between while we're waiting to see. Are you guys interested to know? Have you ever eaten No Foods products before? Have you ever eaten No Foods chocolate chips? Have you ever done blood glucose or blood ketone testing on yourself? I'd be curious to know. What kinds of things knock you out of ketosis. Meanwhile, I'm going to eat these chocolate chips while we have a chat. So the Catalina Crunch cereal, by the way, Adam, I thought, let me eat these because we need to test. Let me go ahead and just put them down. Wait a minute. I guess we could taste test while we're at it, right? I can't say that I normally just sit around and eat chocolate chips. Cheryl said this is good information. Thank you. I think it's important to do clean testing, and I'm being honest when I say I don't trust anyone else to tell me if something really spikes blood sugar or not, for 2 reasons. I test like serious. Like, you want to talk about patience and discipline. 6 days per ingredient when I'm trying to figure out what knocked me out of ketosis over a fun baking weekend. This is serious. Number 2, it might knock me out of ketosis, in which case I have to go through keto flu again, which sucks. And number 3, we're all different, right? Bioindividuality. So there might be some people, like, let's say a bodybuilder who is naturally producing more ketones is going to have a higher tolerance level than a sedentary office woman like me. I just dropped a chocolate chip on the floor. We have to get another one because it has to be exactly one whole serving of 14 grams. We have to do that. Adam said, great info. We need more transparency in our keto world. Transparency is good, and I like no foods. So I'm hoping these pass because I have a 1 pound bag. It's only missing a few servings, and I would love, they're actually good. I'm going to have like chocolate all in my teeth for this video, but they're not milk. It's like kind of like a dark chocolate, but not bitter. Not like unsweetened dark chocolate because it is sweetened with allulose. All right, so going back to your question while I'm trying to down these chocolate chips. And yes, the Wally's granola test, not only does it test good, it improved my ketone levels. So when I got knocked out of ketosis, when was it? I don't know, a few months ago, I ate Wally's granola like 2 or 3 times a day, 1 ounce at a time, like 2 or 3 times a day. I got back in ketosis quicker than I ever have historically in my 8 years of eating keto. Normally it takes me 3 days, 63 to 72 hours to get back in ketosis when I get knocked out. And eating the granola, which for whatever reason, I don't know what magic she puts in that, but eating the granola, I got back in ketosis in 38 hours. Everybody's different on that too. Some people can fast and get back in ketosis overnight or within hours. Not me. It takes me 3 days and I still get the keto flu. We're all different. So one of the things throughout your journey is figuring yourself out. We're all metabolically different. We're all unique. All right, so Adam had said about the Catalina Crunch cereal. I don't remember ketone testing it. I did get it in my Keto Crate box. I love Keto Crate, by the way. I still have one back there. That would be the February box I haven't dug into yet. Anyway, so don't let me forget, 3:37 is when I started eating these. Oh, I've got to eat them pretty quick so we can test again. I'm going to get back to this Catalina cereal, but I want to say these chocolate chips are good. I'm interested to know what they're like melted down for desserts, like whether or not you can use them for recipes. So I tested that too, and we'll try that in a second. Because who eats 1 serving of chocolate chips? Unless it's in a cookie, I guess, like a keto cookie. But anyway, they taste good. For as much as it's kind of hard to eat that much chocolate. I'm not a snacker or a sweet eater really, so it's hard for me to just like eat 14 grams of chocolate all in one sitting. But I'm going to make this happen for you guys. All right, back to the Catalina Crunch cereal with my mouth full so we can get this test done. It had a weird feel in my mouth. I didn't like it. Like it felt kind of like when you're eating flax crackers or flax bread. It left that kind of filmy, weird, slimy feel on my mouth and my tongue. Do you know what I'm talking about? So I thought it felt soft in a weird way. Here in Tennessee, we have the greatest water. I can drink water straight out of the tap. It's so good. We actually have like water power. Tennessee Valley Authority, like hydropower and stuff. When I go to the West Coast, they have like this softener in their water. I can't, or even in Florida, I can't even make my coffee with that water. I have to use bottled water to make my coffee when I'm in California or Florida or Australia. But here in Tennessee, the water tastes really good. I would liken Catalina Crunch to that. It's like the weird water in Australia and California. How it has that soft, yummy thing that it leaves in your mouth. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't like it. All right, so it was all right. I wouldn't necessarily eat it again. For cereal, I use Wally's granola with either milkadamia, which is unsweetened macadamia milk, unsweetened almond milk. I don't really like almond milk because it kind of seems slimy to me compared to macadamia milk, but Simple Truth, which I get at Kroger, makes unsweetened vanilla almond milk that's 0 net carbs per cup that's actually good. So when I was out of macadamia, I got that at Kroger and it was good. And the other cereal I use is KZ Clean Eating, and I can give you the link to it if you just type KZ cereal. K as in kangaroo, Z as in zebra, KZ cereal. It's all natural, paleo, vegan, low carb, very good, like healthy food, very good clean food. All right, I'm trying to down these chocolate chips here, and I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink some water. All right, what do you guys want to know in regards to testing? Or what questions do you have about testing or about ketosis, or are there certain products that are questionable to you or that you're not sure about? Cheryl said, love the Lollies too. What's your favorite flavor? So I put the discount link for Lollies granola for the no chocolate chips for my Keto Mojo. There's discount links for everything in the description, by the way. Adam said Lollies and macadamia nut milk is literally crack for me. I bought 5 packages and finished them in 1 week. It's good, clean food, though. And oh my gosh, is it not so great to have a bowl of cereal again? I mean, seriously, I posted one the other day. I had the cinnamon pecan crunch with almond milk. That was my dinner, though. Like, I don't snack. Cereal for dinner is so much fun when you're 40-something. I'm having a hard time finishing 14 grams of chocolate. It's sweet. It's chocolatey. I don't normally snack. This is one of the perks, you guys, of staying in ketosis long term. I'm almost 8 years in. When you say I'm having a hard time finishing 14 grams of chocolate, you know you have won. You have won the battle. You guys have no idea how much I used to could eat, and it didn't matter if I was hungry or not. And I actually am hungry right now, but not for chocolate. That's crazy talk. But that's what happens when you stay consistent for so long. Number one, you lose weight, so you can see. I don't know how much you can see. So you lose weight. That's great, but that's just a result. Adam said, my issue is the serving size makes me feel like I only get 3 bites before it's gone. The trick to that, in my opinion, or what works for me, is I take small bites. Look how many bites it's taken me to finish a tablespoon of chocolate chips, though. 14 grams. For goodness sakes, I've been eating these for 10 minutes. I'm trying, though. Smaller bites is important. And yeah, see, that's a trick, too. Jennifer said use a smaller spoon. That's what I did. I used a little spoon, and I ate it slow. Cheryl said the peanut butter macadamia granola is her favorite. It's my favorite, too. And that's actually what's in this bowl with the other chocolate. Oh, you see that? I don't know if it's working. Peanut butter, macadamia nut, granola with, I melted down these chocolate chips with a half tablespoon of butter. So I did 1 tablespoon, 14 grams of chocolate chips, and half tablespoon of butter in the microwave for like 10 seconds at a time, stirring it. And it looks like magic shell. Came out like magic shell. You could probably do coconut oil too. I wasn't really sure. Done. Okay, it took me 10 minutes to eat 14 grams of chocolate chips. That was a lot of chocolate. Done, for real. Just so you know. So are you guys curious if this is going to knock me out of ketosis? And what will I do if it does? Should I go eat sushi? Would love to. It has taken me so long to get back to baseline levels, you guys. Pardon me. Like, for whatever reason, I'm getting over the flu, which is awful, but for whatever reason this time around, we did a lot of different ingredients. Like I said, I had a friend over. We did a lot of baking, so we made low-carb cinnamon rolls. We made low-carb loaf bread. We made low-carb peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. We cooked several other things. I ate more foods or different ingredients in 1 3-day period than I normally do in weeks or even months. I eat super simple, mostly like 3I max, which is 3 ingredients max. So for breakfast, it's going to be like butter, eggs, and cheese. for lunch, sometimes like I'll have that pimento cheese and dip pecans in it. I eat very simple food. So for me to eat such a complex amount of combinations of foods, there's no telling what knocked me out of ketosis. So now I'm having to do, 6-day test on each individual ingredient we used that weekend to see what did it. Heavy cream is good on the granola too, and half and half. Half and half is good on the granola. So it's interesting thinking about half and half versus heavy cream while we're waiting for this chocolate to get into my bloodstream so we can see how it pans out on the glucose meter. And man, that made me thirsty. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, heavy cream versus half and half. So half and half is 0.6 carbs, just over half carb per tablespoon, right? Heavy cream is 0.4 carbs per tablespoon. Regardless of what the label says, that's what it is. And so what happens is they're able to, if it's less than half, they can round down to 0. If it's more than half, they have to round up to 1. And so if it's just 0.05, I think they could go either way. Anyway, so if your heavy whipping cream says, HWC, heavy whipping cream says 0 carbs on the label, it's really 0.4 per tablespoon, which means it's 6.4 carbs per cup. There's 16 tablespoons in a cup. That's only important if you're putting like a cup of heavy whipping cream in your Trenta Starbucks. You know what I mean? Or if you're making a recipe that has heavy whipping cream, because that really adds up on you. So half and half and heavy cream are actually pretty close. 0.04, 0.06 is there's 0.2, less than a quarter of a carb difference between heavy whipping cream and half. I like half and half on my Lolly's granola. The bigger difference between heavy cream and half is the calories. So I don't count calories, but for those of you that do, that's, a huge difference. So if you want to use half and half in your coffee instead of heavy cream, that's a possibility. All right, so 3:37 to 3:47 my time is when I ate those chocolate chips. And we're going to give it a few minutes to see how that affects me. So in the meantime, questions, comments. So you guys find this interesting, the testing in terms of, what causes what, what knocks you out of ketosis. I'm very curious about these chocolate chips because I want to use them. I have had to refrain from getting into the bag this whole week, waiting to see, get myself back into good baseline levels so I can determine, what knocked me out of ketosis. I think I actually forgot to take a picture of the chocolate chips. So I'll take a picture of this pretty peanut butter and chocolate granola thingamajig. Because that's going to be yummy, I think. Just doing this to buy some time while we wait so I can test. So I would be curious, are you guys testing at all? Is ketosis important to you? Are you curious? Do you have products that you suspect are possibly throwing you out of ketosis? I'm going to get a picture of these too. What products do you think have knocked you out of ketosis, but maybe you're not really sure? If you're not testing, you're not sure. And I only started testing, number one, because I do a lot of product reviews and I want to be honest about them. And I started testing also because I'm having some problems. I'm having some issues. I started having inflammation again, like stiffness in my fingers. I have a lower back injury, so I have inflammatory arthritis. Anyway, it's from an accident. I was in a horrible, near fatal car accident when I was younger. I was actually paralyzed, and I had a head trauma and brain damage, and they said that I would never work again, for sure, and probably never get out of bed again. So I was paralyzed. I was mostly deaf, partially blind, and bedridden when I was sent home from the hospital. Let me take a picture of these also real quick. Anyway, I had a miraculous recovery, which was amazing. And this is hard to get a picture of because this thing glares. I didn't know. I didn't get like exactly 14 grams there. It's like 13. Anyway, so I was in this car accident. I had a miraculous recovery from this accident. And so I'm no longer paralyzed. I'm still deaf on the right side. I have regressive memory loss. So one of the perks to that is I can watch the same movie over and over and be in suspense every single time. My memory has actually improved dramatically in the last few years. The car accident happened in February of 94. So I was 20 years old. I'll be 46 this year. So it was 25 years ago that the accident happened. And for a long time, I couldn't follow a series, but now I can actually follow a TV series, like, and keep up with it and understand like how things tie together. But that's with the head trauma, music and movies and trivia type stuff doesn't stick. I have an amazing memory for other things. So it's a weird thing how the brain works. Keto is great for cognitive function, by the way. They're doing a lot of testing right now with autism, Alzheimer's, dementia. Obviously, it's always been good for epilepsy. They're looking into mental disorders, you know, how it affects schizophrenia, other things like that, because it's the brain uses 20% of your body's energy, right? The brain is an energy sucker. And so when you think really hard about stuff, you have to take a nap, I think. I do. Anyway, the brain uses tons of energy, and it either runs on, it has to have an energy source. So it's kind of like when your car is out of gas, you have to put more gas in it. So your brain runs either on ketones or on, either runs on fat or glucose, either or. It actually runs better and more efficiently on ketones, on healthy fats, than it does on sugar or glucose. And sugar or glucose, that can be, your body can create glucose for your brain in a number of ways, from starchy foods that don't even taste sweet, like rice and potatoes and bread, that produces the glucose. All right, so question here. Oh, Adam said Lily's chocolate chips, no sugar versus no foods. I haven't tested Lily's yet. That's definitely going to be next on my list. I haven't tested, the chocolate bars are interesting to me. So I have a Lily's chocolate bar here that I'm like dying to eat, but I couldn't do it until I had to do the chips first, and it's like 6 days per product, or per ingredient. So anyway, what interests me or makes me curious about Lily's chocolate versus no foods? No foods uses allulose as the sweetener. Lily's chocolate uses, I think, stevia, and everybody pronounces that different. But anyways, Lily's chocolate also uses inulin as a fiber. So Lily's is very high total carb. So it could be like 24 carbs, but you subtract the 12 of the inulin fiber that's added. And I'm not sure about that. I've heard great things about inulin, that it supposedly like has a lot of health benefits. But what I don't know is when you start adding in synthetic fibers, like fibers that don't naturally occur in that food, which is different than, like, let's say broccoli or spinach, where the fiber count is naturally high because it's a fibrous vegetable. But when you start adding a fiber into a food to lower the net carb count, I'm not sure how that works. So that's actually next on my list to test. And I'm also curious about inulin as a fiber source, because I hear such great things about it as being a healthy thing and good for things like gut health and different stuff. But I don't know how it affects blood glucose, blood ketone levels, how my body is going to respond to it. So I'm really interested to test Lily's next. I don't like stevia so much, though, although I love Lily's chocolate. But I don't like stevia that much, and allulose does taste better, more natural as far as a sweetener. Cheryl said, how quickly after testing does it show up on the Keto Mojo? I missed the beginning. No worries. So I'm testing blood glucose and blood ketone levels, and I'm testing the no foods chocolate chips today. Anyway, I generally like to wait about 30 minutes, after I eat something, and then test my levels, just to see how it impacted me. So I think that they say, like, you can test 15 or 30 minutes after you eat, and then an hour, and then 90 minutes or whatever, something like that. But, Cheryl Anderson said, I love your blog. Do you know that comments like that make my day? I mean, it literally gives me this big smile. So thank you. I appreciate that so much. Cheryl said, I've had the Lily's bars and they haven't knocked me out of ketosis. Very cool. So are you blood testing or urine testing? Just out of curiosity. I was using urine strip testing before, when I was trying to identify some culprits, but then I started having other issues and wanted to really dig deep and dig in and see how things went. All right. So 337 so I could probably test pretty soon. So this I'm very interested in trying. Again, this is Lolly's peanut butter macadamia nut granola with, I don't know if you can see that, with the No Foods chocolate chips. I melted them down with butter. And it's like magic shell. Like it's not gooey or anything. Peanut butter. That smells really good, but I don't know if I can eat that much more chocolate. I don't know. We'll see. If not, I'll save it. I'm big on like throwing something in the refrigerator and seeing how it goes. So what I did earlier, in case you kind of joined in later or whatever, what I did earlier is I tested my blood glucose and blood ketone levels before we went live. And I took a picture of that because I will forget. So just as an FYI, I did take a picture and my blood ketone levels were 1.2, which is good for me, highish, normal. I like 1.2 is highish for me. So I generally like it, 0.5 to 0.8 is kind of seems like my norm for the mornings. My blood glucose level was 88. Normally I'm like 85, but 88 is close and that's a good range. So I'll tell you guys too, while we're here and before I do this next series of testing, because I'm about to test again, do you guys remember when I had the pigs in the garden salad? Beautiful spring mix, lots of greens with some chopped tomatoes, which I picked out because it's winter time and they weren't very pretty. Nice crisp cucumbers, and it was topped with pulled pork and bacon. Do you remember that? It's called a pigs in a garden salad. Well, I had the flu, and so my taste buds were a little off or whatever. And the day I had that, I was sitting here eating it, and I was like, this tastes sweet. And you guys, I've been eating that salad for years. I don't ever remember it tasting sweet, ever. But I was like, this tastes sweet to me. So I tested myself before after the first bite. I immediately tested myself. I was at baseline levels. I ate the salad. It shot my blood sugar up to diabetic levels. Like above what somebody would say, oh, you have type 2 diabetes now. I was shocked. So I called the restaurant. I called the restaurant and I said, I had a major blood sugar spike after eating the salad today. So I just needed to know what's in the pulled pork because there's no sauce or anything on it. It's just plain pulled pork. And they confirmed it did indeed have brown sugar in it. And, but it was enough to throw my glucose levels into a diabetic range, like 133, which was shocking because it was, just pulled pork. However, I bought that Bob Evans Farms ham, and I bought like 2 pounds of it, this sliced ham or whatever. And one of the ingredients in that ham was brown sugar. So I had brown sugar in the pulled pork, and it did knock me out of ketosis, but not like long term. Like I got back into ketosis within the same day, but it spiked my blood sugar through the roof. The ham also says brown sugar as one of the ingredients, but it doesn't even register as 1 carb per ham steak. So it's less than half a carb if it's any at all. So it's not enough brown sugar to even count as a carb. Anyway, so I make the ham steak, which has also brown sugar in it, and it does not affect my blood glucose levels. So it's not the ingredient that's not keto. So it's not the ingredient itself. Keto is a metabolic state. It's not that foods are keto or not keto. It's the amount of it, and it's your personal bioindividuality. Kim said, yikes, that is high. It freaked me out. I felt bad. I almost said a bad word. I felt bad. I got that icky feeling, lightheaded. I was like, I don't feel right, and tested again. Melanie said, appreciate all the testing you do, and I always enjoy your meal roundups and MyFitnessPal logs on your blog too. I am getting back to those soon. I had a major work project and the flu when I came back from Long Beach, California, and I have some catching up to do there. Dawn said, so glad you're going over this. All right, so it is 4:03. I started eating the No Foods chocolate chips. I ate a full serving, 14 grams at 3:37. It took me 10 minutes to eat them until 3:47. So I can go ahead and start prepping and get ready, and we'll go ahead and test and see if my blood sugar has responded yet. Dawn said, it's not the ingredient, it's the amount. So while and I'm having to chat with you a little bit here, which is good because we're having a great conversation, but I'm having to chat with you a little bit here because I want to do a good, true, clean test and make sure my body has, this chocolate is fully in my bloodstream. So we can, see accurate results. I don't want to prick my finger more times than I have to, even though it's not painful or whatever. I just, don't want to do that. So speaking of, it's not the ingredient, it's the amount. So one of the big things I hear that's not keto is maltodextrin. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, and I don't care. It's in the sugar-free vanilla syrup at Starbucks. So I get those Trenta iced coffees. If you guys think I'm sitting there and sucking that whole thing down in like 30 minutes, you're wrong. It takes me all day to sip on that and drink that. And normally I get about halfway through it, stick it in the fridge, and finish the rest the next morning. I don't like drink a 31-ounce coffee and like iced coffee or whatever in one sitting. Sometimes I can finish one in the day, especially if I'm having it as a meal, which I have done. The other day I got a Venti, not a Trenta, 20-ounce, and they put more heavy cream in it than I normally get. And I just was full from that and didn't eat dinner. So I just enjoyed the rest of that coffee. Anyway, people are like, that's not keto, that has maltodextrin. Or I'm like, dude, 6 months ago when you were eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast, were you even looking at the ingredients then? Probably not. There's all kind of crap you've been eating all your life that you obviously didn't care about. So all of a sudden you care about like this one ingredient is the devil. Anyway, that's just me. So I get this. I like my Starbucks iced coffee sweet. I love it sweet. It's like a dessert. So I get this, like Trenta 31-ounce iced coffee. I get 1/3 a cup, and I do my fingers like this because I don't want them to do 1/3 of the 31-ounce cup, like 1/3 of the cup. So I'm like, I just want like 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream and like 4 or 5 shots of sugar-free cinnamon dulce and 3 or 4 shots of sugar-free vanilla. Anyway, the maltodextrin. So I ketone tested this one on a 6-day clean test, my Starbucks order, and it does not affect my blood glucose levels or blood ketone levels. But everybody around the internet will say maltodextrin spikes your blood sugar higher than sugar itself. I have yet to see somebody do a 6-day clean test and show me that they're literally doing a clean test that I would believe that. It hasn't happened to me personally. So, that's just, don't believe everything you read on the internet. That's why I'm testing. All right, so I'll go ahead and get this prepped and clean my hand again. I am going to test my ketone levels. By the way, blood glucose usually is affected first. Ketone levels change slower. Your blood sugar, so this is what you'll notice like back in the day when you were a carb eater, or if you eat something that knocks you out of ketosis or spikes your blood sugar, you notice that pretty quick, right? You like all of a sudden after like 30 minutes after you eat, you're like, I gotta go to bed. That's your blood sugar spiking. But your ketone levels are slower to respond than your blood sugar levels. So that's why, I would test like within 30 minutes and I'm specifically looking for whether it spiked my blood sugar, which was at 88 a little while ago. I lost my screen. All right. So Cheryl said that's good to know. Yeah. I think that it's important to know for yourself. Like, again, don't believe everything you read on the internet, that, oh, this is the devil or that. Look, you guys, I've been eating keto for almost 8 years. If I can't have a Starbucks or eat sausage and eggs from McDonald's when I'm on a road trip or, if I can't live my life, then this is not a sustainable way of eating for me. Right? It's something I could only do at home in my own kitchen. That's not going to work. I mean, who's ever not out and about sometimes or in a hurry? Or let's say you have a group of kids and like, we want McDonald's, that's fine. I'll get sausage and eggs. And people complain about that. Like McDonald's is the devil too, right along with maltodextrin. McDonald's has changed their ingredients. I will say that. They used to have kind of crappier sausage, but it wasn't crappier than what I buy at the store. Now their sausage actually has less ingredients than the sausage I buy and cook from the store. And we're talking Jimmy Dean, Tennessee Pride, regular sausage labels. And I don't go all grass-fed and all organic and all specialty. And I mean, who can afford all that? And who can like drive 2 hours round trip to go get all that, right? Or have to be like so worried about all that. I'm going to tell you, if you woke up and breathed today, you're already polluted. There's nothing clean left on this planet. So don't get all OCD about it has to be so natural and organic. Do what you want to do what you can afford. But for me, I go to a regular grocery store and I buy regular food. Store brands half the time. And and there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Dawn said exactly. Who drives around with a full-size kitchen in their trunk? I know, right? That's crazy. Pardon me. All right, so we're going to do the test. Are you guys ready to see the results? I'm interested to know because I've been dying to try these chocolate chips. So I'm interested to know. So the first thing I have to do, I've got my strips out. I have blood glucose and blood ketone strips both. I have the handy-dandy little meter. I have the finger pricker, which is actually known as the lancet, I guess. And I am going to clean my finger again with alcohol. So Cheryl said, do you ever get the burger patties at McDonald's? Are they decent? So I did a blood glucose and blood ketone test on the bunless Big Mac, which is, with that crappy sauce. I actually used to love Big Mac sauce, special sauce, whatever you call it. I used to love that stuff, but I couldn't hardly eat it this time. But anyways, I got a double too, to really test it. I got 2 bunless Big Macs and ate them both. And they passed with flying colors. Go figure. Where I've had keto products throw me out of ketosis. And I'll publish that blog post soon with all the details of how I tested it and all that kind of stuff. I didn't actually enjoy it. I didn't like the bunless Big Mac. The sauce was too sweet for me because I'm in ketosis. But it didn't knock me out of ketosis. Anyway, if you want to know what's in a McDonald's burger patty, they will tell you. Go to McDonald's.com. They have a nutrition calculator where you can take off the bun, take off the ketchup, take off whatever ingredients, add whatever ingredients, and it will give you the macros for whatever you want to order. But you can also do a little drop down and see all the ingredients in the sausage, all the ingredients in their hamburger, all the ingredients in their cheese. Their cheese I don't recommend. The cheese has a whole paragraph of ingredients and it's 2 net carbs per slice. I'm sorry, 2 carbs per slice, total carbs. Anyway, so I'm going to clean my finger again and we are going to test again. So you can go see. And I think it's important to know what you're eating. That doesn't mean you shouldn't eat it. If it's crap food and it has, soy and a whole paragraph of ingredients like special sauce on a Big Mac, that's crap ingredients. But if you love it and you crave it and you test and it doesn't knock you out of ketosis, I tested, it didn't knock me out of ketosis. So if you actually like it, by all means, enjoy it. This is life. Life is meant to be enjoyed. That's the whole point of this whole testing series that I'm doing is I want the widest variety of fun foods and ingredients and for recipes and all that I can possibly enjoy while still maintaining nutritional ketosis and still staying out of chronic pain. So Dawn said, I would like to know your thoughts on Chalk Zero. It has soluble corn fiber, which makes up the fiber, which is why it's so low in net carbs, and I'm torn on that product. It's next on my list. I'm doing Lily's chocolate after this. First, I wanted to do the No Foods chips because I didn't have Lily's and Chalk Zero. The weekend I did all that baking, this was one of the ingredients in the baking I did. And I got knocked out of ketosis, but I had too many different products in that period of time to know what it was. So next on my list is to test Lily's because it has that fiber also, the inulin, and then Chalk Zero. And I'm crossing my fingers. I did... Back when I was doing urine testing, I tested Chalk Zero and it tested fine. But now I'm doing blood glucose testing. We'll see. And just find out. All right, so we're going to start with the glucose test and then we're going to wrap this up. And this should be fun to find out. All right, so that was my little meter saying it's ready to do this. It is 4:13. We've had plenty of time to get some results here. So we're going to go, here we go. Little prick, doesn't hurt. Gives you a little thing of blood. And I'm squeamish, and this doesn't bother me at all. All right, so I'm going to test the glucose first, and I'll be as surprised as you are. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to spike my blood sugar? The allulose? Whoa. I'm surprised. Actually, it did. 10 points. So it was 88 before. Do you remember? Now it's 98 after eating 14 grams, 1 tablespoon of chocolate chips. Will that knock me out of ketosis? That is the question. And it'll be kind of hard to tell but we'll see how it affected my ketone levels, although those do change slower than glucose levels. But it's only been 30 minutes. And is that a lot? 10-point spike? Is that a lot, Dawn? Jennifer said, I love my Chalk Zero. They're my go-to sweet treat. So I'm anxious to test them with my blood glucose meter. So Dawn said that's not much, meaning the amount of chocolate I ate or the number, the 88 to 98, the 10-point spike. So Jennifer said I didn't expect it to spike. I didn't either. I'm being honest with you. I didn't either. But something knocked me out of ketosis. And I had, and of all the ingredients I had, this was the one that was questionable to me, was these chocolate chips. So I'm curious to see how this goes. But it will be interesting, of course, to test it again, in a few minutes. But I'll go ahead and test my ketone levels again for now. And then I'll test my glucose levels again once the chocolate's fully in my bloodstream. Kind of feeling it too. I'm feeling it because I haven't eaten anything else today. Except for breakfast way earlier this morning. So just out of curiosity, and let's go back to my, oh, come on, phone. Let's go back to my blood ketone levels. Anybody remember what they were? Was it 1.2? Let me go back and look. Yes, 1.2. So we had 88 was my blood glucose level, and it spiked to 98 within half an hour of eating the chocolate chips. Originally, my blood ketone level was 1.2, so we're about to test that and find out. Got my cotton ball. About to test that and find out whether or not they changed yet. And of course, like I said, ketone levels are slower to respond, so that's not really fair, and I'll keep an eye on that as we go. Little prick, doesn't hurt. Oh, the amount I ate is not much. So is a 10-point spike a lot? Like, would you guys expect to see that from 14 grams of something? I didn't eat that much. It was just 14 grams. Is that a lot? So I think, Dawn said, I think the Keto Connect couple also had a decent spike after eating allulose. So ketosis is my... Oh, no. I don't think I got it all the way in. Well, it still says it's registering, so maybe. So my ketone level is, I'm still in ketosis, but it is 0.2, like just barely lower. So I'm at 1.0 instead of 1.2 now. But ketone levels take longer to change. So we'll just keep an eye on that for a minute. But so far, my blood glucose has spiked by 10, just in the first 30 minutes alone. So I'll have to keep an eye on it and see how it goes. So yeah, 14 grams is all I ate. That's not a lot. It was a little amount. You saw how much it was. So I'm curious to know, I don't know that much about, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, but I don't know that much about, like, going from 88 to 98. Obviously, my ideal range is 85 to 88 is where I normally am. So being at 98 for my blood glucose levels, that's high for me. But I don't know if that's going to knock me out of ketosis or not. So the Lolly's granola I've already tested before. So the other thing that I did is I took 14 grams, 1 tablespoon of the No Foods chocolate chips, and I put them in the microwave 10 seconds at a time with half a tablespoon of butter and melted it down. And it came out, like, I was curious, would it be liquidy, like chocolate syrup, like melted butter, or would it be, and it is, like magic shell. Look, so it kind of made like a little, like, fat bomb type thing. It's not refrigerated. Let me see if you can see that. Probably not. It's not refrigerated or anything. But this is Lolly's peanut butter macadamia granola, which I have ketone tested, and it actually increases or improves my ketone levels. It doesn't affect my glucose levels at all. But I melted down these 14 grams of chocolate chips with half a tablespoon of butter with 1 ounce of Lolly's peanut butter macadamia granola. So, I don't know, I don't think you can see that beautifulness. Let me just see. This granola, you guys, you know I'm in love with it, right? I was like, oh, that's the best stuff in the whole world. It's so good. So I'm going to eat that, and then I'm going to test again. So I haven't seen their video, Dawn. on that, and whether or not, like, did they follow through and say whether it knocked them out of ketosis, or what, does they just have like a brief spike? Because it's possible. Oh my gosh, like eating the chocolate chips alone. Hang on. Eating the chocolate chips alone was hard for me, but wow. That is delicious. So the chocolate chips mixed with butter are really good to make chocolate sauce. Kim said, I love the granola. The fat bombs are taking me some time to get used to. What fat bombs? And why are you trying to get used to them? I don't think you should eat anything you don't like, but that's just my opinion. We should all eat, like broccoli and spinach and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, if you don't like it, don't eat it. That's... Jennifer said, you're making me hungry. I'm famished. I need some real food. All this chocolate and snacks is not my thing. I need some real food. I'm hungry. It's like dinner time around here. I'm just going to put a little more of this chocolate in my bloodstream for the testing. It's all for the testing. I'm doing this for you. And I really, be honest with you, I dislike being a keto guinea pig. I mean, I have to find out so I can eat stuff and know what to eat and what not to eat and all that kind of stuff. But the whole thing of getting knocked out of ketosis and, the whole, like not feeling good or, spiking my blood sugar or whatever. And then the 6-day test and all the finger pricking. I mean, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of discipline. Sometimes I eat foods I don't like just to test them, like the bunless Big Mac. It was everything I could do to get that down. Ugh. But I wanted to do, like, everybody was saying, that's not keto. I found out that it was. So I like that. Kim said, it's a texture thing. I have not tried all the flavors yet. The macadamia fat bombs. F-bombs. Oh my gosh. No, F-bomb is so amazing. If you guys haven't tried F-bomb yet, I have a 20% off discount code. Just leave a comment to say F-bomb and I'll give you my link. It's 20% off. So here's the thing with the F-bombs. You stuff them in your shirt. You know what I'm saying? And body heat, or put them like when I'm driving and I'll put them under my leg, under my thigh. So, anyways, you put them near you for body heat, or like, in your leggings or whatever. And then they mix up like really nice. Like, have you seen how when I drizzle them over my granola, how smooth the macadamia butter is? Oh my gosh, I love those. So if you don't want to eat them by themselves, first of all, warm them up with body heat first. And then the next thing you want to do is put them on something. Like put them on cream cheese. It's really good on cream cheese. All right, Adam said 1.3, meaning what? Dawn said, I think they tested keto sugars for glucose spikes. I don't remember if they checked for ketosis or not. Gotcha. But like, did they test them all at once? Because your blood sugar, like, it keeps, I can only test one thing in a day. Like, if you were testing multiple things in a day, how would you know what impacted you within 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and 90 minutes? Or were they doing one per day? This is good, y'all. Peanut butter, macadamia, granola, chocolate mix is really good. Do you see what I'm saying, though, about the testing? Because your blood glucose levels continue to rise, and then they might fall back down. And just because something spikes your blood glucose doesn't mean it's going to knock you out of ketosis, although it could affect your ketone levels. Or it could knock you out of ketosis. I'm eating some more of this so we can, like, really see. Because who eats 1 tablespoon of chocolate chips? Let's be really honest here. Who eats 14 grams of chocolate chips and no more? Because you guys are so great at portion control. I'm like probably the only person. This is really good, though. Dawn said, I don't think they did. The video was just a compilation for convenience. It took them days. Gotcha. Okay. Jennifer said, I didn't like them the first time, but I sure do now, and they are a great go-to when I need something on the go. I love them on road trips. We're talking about F-bombs. If you want my discount code, it's 20% off. They were very generous with it. I also like them on things. And they have a MCT C8 and C10 pure, very clean oil that is really nice in your coffee. I've been putting that in my coffee a little bit lately. And I'll give you guys some more information on C8, C10, MCT, why you should use it, blah, blah, yada, yada. They also make avocado oil and like Brazil and macadamia oil or whatever you can put on salads at restaurants if you're, trying to be soy free or whatever. Like they make all kinds of great stuff. Dawn said that's why I'm a little hesitant buying the Lolly granola. It might be hard to stop at a serving. I measure it. I'm going to make a mess over here. I'm talking with my mouth full for testing purposes only because I would not normally do that. I just broke my scale. Hang on. I'm going to fix it. So here's my trick with that. It is very important, mindful eating, because I used to really have a problem with binge eating and mindless eating and just eat, all the time. Anyway, so here's what I do. I weigh it, measure it, plate it, put it away, and walk away with that food. That's it. Measure it or weigh it, plate it, put it away. And you log it first. So track it in your tracker, whether it's Carb Manager or MyFitnessPal, whatever the case. Log it first so you know exactly what you're eating. Measure it out. This is my handy dandy little scale, and I put the link for that in the description of this video too because it's on Amazon. It's super cheap. It's so convenient. I measure out 1 ounce or however much I'm going to have. I put it in the bowl or on the plate. I put the bag away, back in the fridge, seal it up, walk away. Never take the bag of nuts or the bag of granola or the bag of chocolate chips to the couch with you or to bed with you or to your desk with you. Never. That is asking for mindless eating. Whereas if you measure it or weigh it, plate it, and put it away, and track it. So I'm really big on that because if I put it in my tracker first, like I decide what I'm going to eat, and I put it into MyFitnessPal, and then while I'm measuring and weighing, I stick to that because it's too much trouble to go back and edit it. Right? So track it, weigh it, plate it, put it away, walk away. Okay, do one more test and see how my blood glucose is doing. And then I'm going to go get some real food. I need a ribeye or a big salad or something. Those chocolates making me feel sick. Jennifer said, those are a great time on how to eat a serving. That's what I do. Yes. All right, let me pick a finger again. All right, so we're going to test. I'm just cleaning my finger here really good. Going to test the glucose again because it's been a little bit longer now, and I just want to see if there's another spike or if it's going back down and if it's anything to worry about or not. So I'm trying to keep my thumb from touching anything. I'm so super OCD about it being a clean test. Finger prick, it's super easy. It's not bad. Doesn't hurt. And I'm not like a tough nut. All right, make sure I get a decent drop. Testing blood glucose levels one more time just to see if there's another spike. So we went 10 points up from the chocolate chips before. So let's see what happens this time. So it's coming back down now. And I've been eating some more of the chocolate, so now it's at 94. You see that? Started at 88. The great thing about taking pictures, and one of the reasons I do this, is because when I take a photo of my numbers, the photo itself is time-stamped, date and time-stamped. So I take pictures of what I eat, and I also take pictures of my levels. And so I have this entire time-stamped gallery of what I ate and what my levels were and stuff like that. So I'm not seeing these as a huge problem. Although I will test again later this evening to see if my ketone levels have changed. I'll test those again one more time. I expect I'm probably still in ketosis. Just going to clean my finger here real quick. Get chocolate everywhere. But I fully expect I'm probably still in ketosis, not a big deal. But I will have to test again. And of course, I don't want to make you guys sit here and wait all night just to see. I feel like I don't feel good about this one. Hang on a second. Let me clean the alcohol, or it was wet with alcohol. Any questions or comments? So what does that mean? Like in 30 minutes, it went up 10 points. It's already come down 4 points since then. What does that mean? Anything? What do you guys think? Ketone levels were at what? 1.2 before? Oh, went from 1.2 to 0.5. Now that's a huge jump. Wow, in less than an hour. That's crazy. Something knocked me out of ketosis, and these chocolate chips were part of the overall recipe of whatever the combination of ingredients that knocked me out of ketosis. So that's why I was testing them. But 1.2 to 0.5 is a huge jump. All right. So Dawn said, I guess what I don't know is, so what if your glucose levels go up? What does that mean? Not pre or diabetic. So does it matter if it goes up a bit? Yes. So the foods that spike your blood glucose levels, like really spike your blood sugar, are what throw you out of ketosis. And it's easier to identify food culprits that make you feel bad or that affect your ketone levels by testing your blood glucose, because it happens faster. So I spiked 10 points within 30 minutes with blood glucose, but it took, closer to an hour. No, I haven't been kicked out of ketosis. 0.5 is still ketosis, but it's still within the hour, and it takes blood ketone levels longer to respond to foods. So that was going back to Dawn's question. That's why I do the blood glucose levels, because you get a quicker response. So for it to spike 10 points, it spiked my blood sugar by 10 points in less than 30 minutes. And Cheryl said, wow, that's the lowest I've ever seen. This time of day for me too, it's pretty low for me too. But to go from 1.2 to 0.5 in less than an hour, I'm interested to see how these chocolate chips continue to affect my blood glucose and blood ketone levels. So there was an immediate blood sugar spike of 10 points. It seems to be coming back down now. But how will that ultimately affect me? Will it knock me completely out of ketosis, or is it just going to knock my ketone levels down that low? So again, started at 1.2 was my ketone level, now at 0.5 in less than an hour. And it does take your blood ketones longer to respond to foods generally. Might as well finish this now because I've already logged it. What do I do? What do you guys think? Dawn said, so what is the takeaway? Are you going to avoid the chips? I'm going to test again over the next few hours. And I won't keep you here for that, but I'll put it in my blog post. But I'm going to test again probably once every hour or so and see if my ketone levels recover or if it tanks. What do you think? Do you guys want to vote? What do you expect? I'm halfway through or almost all the way through the second serving of chocolate chips. That's only 28 grams. 2 tablespoons, that's it. It's not like I gorged. What's your takeaway, Dawn? I mean, my takeaway is they're questionable. That's the reason they're the very first thing I tested. Sharon said I would drop it like it's hot. Well, right now I'm going to finish it because, I'm already, halfway into it. So there's no point in throwing away good food. I don't throw away good food. I laughed at that too, Nicole. Anyway, what's your takeaway, Dawn and everybody else? Would you avoid the chocolate chips just based on this video alone? Or do you want to know, like an hour from now, 2 hours from now, if my ketone levels recover and I don't get knocked out of ketosis completely, then are they safe? Or would you avoid them on the 10 point spike on blood glucose alone? That's not huge, by the way. That Pigs in the Garden salad spiked me to 133 on the blood glucose meter. From 85 to 133, like that, within 30 minutes of eating that salad. And it was because they put brown sugar in the meat. Nicole said, I want to know more ketone readings before I make a decision on the chocolate chips. Cheryl said, hate to say, I think it's a no. Have that sushi. Yes, because, I only eat off plan twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, and it is still paleo and still considered low carb because technically low carb is defined as anything 100 carbs per day or less. And when I do get knocked out of ketosis from food testing for you guys, that's what I like. I like to go and enjoy my sushi. I'm just talking full on real sushi. I still get, I like this beach roll, but I still get cream cheese in place of the mango and no mango sauce on it. But I do eat, there's little crunchy things on it, and there's rice in it, and all that stuff. So I still eat all that stuff if I'm already knocked out of ketosis. Or at the new year, I knocked myself out of ketosis, not even with a good meal. It was like, I don't know, just something like a sandwich or something crappy. But I did that on purpose to start the challenge with everyone because I forget sometimes what people are going through when they first start. All right, Dawn said, I'm not sure. The 10 points in glucose seem to be a lot, but if it doesn't get you out of ketosis, but if you get kicked out, that's a different thing. I'd like to know additional ketone readings. Me too. Because, and I'm eating a second serving because I think that's fair. Do you think that's fair or not fair on this test? And be honest with me. I'm asking because, pardon me, I'm asking because 14 grams, 1 tablespoon is not a lot. So because they're super low carb, they're literally 0 net carbs. I mean, eating 28 grams or 2 tablespoons of these wouldn't be that would be like what most people would do, I think. So I think it's more fair of me to test by eating 2 servings of it, 28 grams, than just to stick to the 1 serving. So you guys really know, I'm really going to get this stuff really all up in my bloodstream. It's still just 28 grams. It's just 2 tablespoons of the chocolate chips. I mixed this with butter is why it seems like so much. Sorry, I'm eating with my mouth full. Kim said, I think for me, being half a point away from type 2 diabetes. Sorry. I would go by the blood glucose levels. Sharon said, I do think that's fair. I would do that on a regular day, so I'd rather know than not. And Dawn said, it's still not a lot, but is there carbs in the granola? Yes, but I've already tested the granola. And not only does it test super clean, it actually improves my ketone levels when I eat it. So this has been very interesting. I was curious what, affected I could test again real quick and then before we close off, but I just got that in my throat. So I could test again real quick out of curiosity, and then we could call it a day, and I can continue testing my ketone levels every hour or so this evening and let you guys know how it goes. Whether these completely throw me out of ketosis, these chocolate chips, the granola is totally safe. And I put the links to the ketone testing kit, the Ozeri kitchen scale I use. I definitely think you should be weighing everything, not just measuring it. The chocolate chips, I have a 10% discount code on those if you want to spike your blood glucose levels like I did. Although if they don't knock me out of ketosis, I think they would make for great fat bombs because this was amazing. I'm just going to tell you, this was really good. So I haven't tested Lily's yet, Dee. I haven't tested Lily's yet, and I mentioned that earlier. The next thing on my list is Lily's chocolate and Chalk Zero. I have not blood glucose tested either of those yet. So, but it takes, I have to do like a 6-day test in between each one. I can't test them all at once. Sharon said, I have the same gray sweater and I love it. I'm pretty sure this is American Eagle. I think it was anyway. 2 full servings, 28 grams. It was good too. If it does knock me out of ketosis, I will say it was worth it. It was good. Oh my gosh, there's a rogue chocolate chip. No waste. It reminds me of a funny thing. I was taking care of my grandmother her last 2 years. And she grew up during the Great Depression. She was like between 91 and 93, I think, when I was taking care of her. Anyway, she used to say, I would put out dinner or whatever. And she would say, eat that last chicken or this or that, don't want any of this food going to waste. And she would say that all the time. Can't let it go to waste. I'm like, you eat it. I'd rather it go to waste than go to my waste. We used to have this conversation like all the time at the dinner table. It's pretty funny. So I'm using alcohol to clean my finger. We're going to prick one more time and just see where my blood sugar levels are, because I just ate another serving of that. And we'll check to the ketone levels again, because I was half a point away from being out of ketosis. So this is just one more real quick, and then I'll continue testing every hour or so for the rest of the evening to see how things go. All right. What do you guys think so far? Chips are in, chips are out. Have you eaten them before, and did you like them? I want to hear your thoughts. They were good. I like the chocolate chips. So as a review, I would give them 2 thumbs up. I would just prick both thumbs repeatedly. Doesn't hurt. Again, just a little prick, as Pink Floyd would say, for those of you old enough to appreciate that reference. Who isn't old enough to appreciate that reference? I think even my children know Pink Floyd. All right, here we go. What did I put in? Blood glucose, yeah. So I'm testing, oh, wow. So 93. I think it was at 94 last time. Hang on, it glares. So 93 now. So it hasn't spiked back up again, but I just literally got through eating that. And when I take a picture, my photos are time-stamped, so that really kind of helps me keep track of when things changed. But the big thing is, I'm curious, did it knock me out of ketosis? Oh, Chalk Zero syrup is amazing. If you want my coupon code, I have not glucose tested those, but if you want my coupon code for Chalk Zero, just put Chalk Zero in the text chat, and I'll come back and give you my coupon code. I have a good one, I think. I think we're going to use my finger this time. All right, questions, comments? What do you guys think? I'm about to test my ketone levels. Will I be in or out? Anybody want to guess? Oh, no food syrup is good too, but it also uses the allulose. I haven't tested it with blood glucose yet. Nicole said, thanks for taking one for the team. It's going to suck if I have keto flu again. I'm not going to love you for that. But I need to know, because I have this whole 1 pound bag of chocolate chips, and I want to know if I can bake with them or not. All right, here goes. All right, so I'm still in ketosis, but we're still like just within the first hour, literally. So 0.6 now. So nothing drastic, nothing horrible has happened. I'm not completely out of ketosis. My blood glucose is currently 94. It was 88 when I started. It's not a huge spike. It did spike 10 points, but I've seen, like I said, when I ate that salad where the meat had brown sugar in it, I spiked from 85 to 133. So a 10-point spike isn't huge. So no definitive results yet. You can see this takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience and discipline. So I have to just eat eggs or pecans or just block cheese or something super simple for the rest of the day, or at least for the next 3 hours as I test once an hour per hour and see what happens with my blood ketone levels. Because again, your blood glucose levels respond fastest and first, and your blood ketone levels respond much slower. So just because you're still in ketosis 30 minutes later or an hour later doesn't mean your ketone levels aren't going to tank by the end of the day or within a few hours or even by the next morning. It takes longer, like I said, for those to respond. All right, so that's it for now. This has been fun, so stay tuned for the actual definitive final results. In the meantime, I'm going to go make yet another plate of eggs. I would really like to have one of those. Have you seen the new blackened shrimp Caesar salad at Applebee's? Maybe I'll go grab that instead. That sounds good and safe. As far as not tainting my results. I think. Maybe I should rethink that and have the eggs. So now you know why I eat so many eggs for the purpose of clean testing. I have to stick to foods that are already tested that I don't have to worry about, affecting the results I'm sharing with you guys. It gets very boring. One day last week, I ate 8 or 9 eggs in one day. I was like, I'm so tired of this. All right. Have a great rest of the day or night. Stay tuned. I will let you know what happens with my blood ketone levels. The chocolate chips taste amazing, by the way. So if I were going to review them on taste alone, the fact that they melt down nice with butter and or coconut oil, you can use them in fat bombs or recipes. On taste alone, they're good. When I baked them into some low-carb cookies, some keto cookies, I made a low-carb peanut butter cookie mix. And when I baked them in, they didn't melt all into it. They actually held their shape. So that was interesting. So you had these little crunchy little chocolate bits in the low-carb cookies. So for baking purposes, for fat bomb purposes, taste alone, they're good. I mean, I would give them 2 thumbs up on a review on taste alone. And I do have a coupon code for them in the description of this video. But stay tuned. We'll see if that 10-point blood glucose spike really will have an impact on my ketone levels or not. So I'll see you guys back again. I'll Chalk Zero next. Yes, I want to test Lily's next, actually, because I already have it open, and I'm afraid it's going to go bad before I get to test it. And then Chalk Zero for sure. All right, you guys have a great rest of the day or night. And if you need a coupon code, something I mentioned here, F-bombs, Chalk Zero, any of that stuff, if it's not in the description of this video, just leave a comment, and I will come back and give you that discount link and or any questions you have. And then I'll come back and let you know the final results as soon as I know. Have a great rest of the day.